welcome, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another BeoTalk number 341.
Yay!
Oh yeah, let's do some chilling. Which way? Come join our Discord if you haven't yet already. Link is in the chat. Yeah, everything's there if you want to be first on just about anything. This button, go buy some stuff at Skinny Play. Use the link to get 10% off.
And least but not least, the Greeno group.
Yeah, go buy some aluminium covers for your BLAP 8s and use that promo code too.
Hopefully for the theater soon.
Yeah, it would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be very sweet.
I mean, apparently these prices, even without the discount, are very cheap compared to what B&O offers. So,
indeed, they are.
There you have it. I mean, you can
and they
have
will be even cheaper as of May 1st, I guess.
Yeah, you can have some wood on plastic, or you can have some like solid aluminium.
So at least they spell it correctly on the website, aluminium.
Yeah, everybody spells it correctly except for here.
That's it.
What do you say in Canada, actually?
They say aluminum too, but here in Quebec side or French side, it's aluminium. Because French say aluminium, right?
Okay.
So at least that's correct here. That's about as far as my French goes.
Says Bino Theater alu covers 2200. I don't believe that the wood is more expensive than the aluminium.
Aluminium cover for what? For theater? I haven't even seen one.
I don't think you can buy it separately because it's only on the Ferrari one.
That's right.
I mean, you can maybe order it as a spare part, but
you can't. I will go to Exploded View and confirm, but I guarantee you that there is only smoked oak, light oak, oak, walnut, and cloth, golden uniform, which would be another one. Golden uniform tone. There's going to be a black now because that's available. And I found in the product finder the other day that there's all the SKUs for all the colors from Atelier.
So you better like have your fingers crossed. Your dealer like looks at that carefully when he orders your colors.
It's an absolute flood of
options.
Yeah. It's little. Let's go here. Let's go to the. Are we going for lamella covers? So holy Christ, man, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different colors. None of them are aluminium, my friend. Oak, light oak, dark oak, walnut, smoked oak, black oak, pink oak, white oak, orange oak, birch, teak, maple, green oak, lavender oak, charcoal oak, beech, brown, core, ash, pine, rosewood, and unavailable special edition, which I think is what you're talking about. That is the Ferrari cover. Let's go on the top covers. How many? Oh, shoot, they got a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 31. So there are 31 top covers on the theater now.
Holy moly.
Gray Melange, black, Parisian Night Blue, Golden Unify. It's not Golden Uniform anymore, I guess. Golden Unify, Purple Heart, Sandstorm, Jester Red, Aurora Pink, Grey Define, Dark Grey Define, Almond Beige, or Beige, Meadow Green, Bronze, Harvest Ochre, Sandstorm, or Sandthorn, Blue Rose, Granite Gray, Cranberry Red, Gray, White, Forged Iron Gray, Infantry Green, Lime Green, Dawn Purple, Racing Green, Beach Glass, Warm Taupe, Wild Dove, Brazilian Clay, Rosewood, Stained, and a Floral Coral. So hopefully that answers your questions as far as how many we got.
I mean, as a customer, I would really want to see a lot of these things like in the flesh, right? Because the sort of parts box you have gives you an indication, but sometimes when it becomes a slab of aluminium like this size, right, it like looks a bit different.
Oh, 100%. But bro, that's a lot.
Especially since you can also like matte a finish just about all of it. Or the silk finish, just about all of the colors except for like some of the blacks, I think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's there's a lot of options now, y'all. And I think the tactic is very correct that the guys are doing now in the shop, where they start off with the atelier, right? Give you the play around with the colors and such, and then when it comes to the price, some people are phased, some are unphased. The unphased go on and continue, and the ones that get phased by it, then they go in to regular black, anthracite, silver, gold, or what's the other color that is there? I think that's it for regular default ones. Mark is asking. We've had a few actually that I know. I'm doing a theater at the end of this month that is atelier, but I think it's a good sales tactic more than it is to actually sell, in my opinion. But I'm not in the shop enough to actually be able to see that, and from the results that I see, what goes through is still more classic and default colors. I think that if you go into like the 28s per se, and you get into these very funky and brave colors, I think they're too brave and very dictative, I guess, of the interior, because that you either, I don't know, man. Like if I put the 28s here with all these crazy colors, the green, the pink, and whatnot, and honey tone and whatever, they would just they would take all the attention in the room immediately. And if that's your, cup of tea, sure. But I like the fact that the 90s are the way they are, and they're, I like them much more in white and black because they're not as dominant in the room. And but yeah, the colors. Like if I were to go with Bespoke, I would definitely go with the theater in aluminum grills. That's one thing that I would change on my setup. But other than that, not much. Chestnut is a nice color. It's very dark brown. Like this is a good, it's a cigar lounge color to me. It's, you have a chestnut type of chair.
If you like your cigars, it works.
If you like your cigar room, then just have all this wood and shit in there and smoke a stogie, watch your theater.
Yeah,
watch us on it. Maybe we should start broadcasting in surround.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't do that.
It'd be funny. But yeah. So yeah, the Bespoke stuff is definitely, I think, on a wayside more than I think the Atelier's taken over that as far as that is concerned. But not much new. Not much new in the store. Things are all the same. The only thing that is going to be new is when the May 1st rolls around, things are going to get more expensive. We haven't even gotten into these Beosound balances that I don't think we'll even ever get one. It's 25,000 euros a piece. Hey, that's the price.
Holy moly!
Yes, I like that the platter on the theater. That would look cool. Get something like a flat Earth map or something. Then you have that outer ring as the Antarctic and ice wall or whatever they call it.
God, you could maybe ask Skinny Play or somebody to make you that.
Make me a flat Earth cover for my theater. But yeah, I absolutely love, because I thought about like, fuck man, this would look baller if it was backlit from the inside, that whole entire pillar, and they actually did put lights in it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic look. Like, you're not buying the stereo per se, more or less, than you're buying a huge, magnificent piece of granite that has been like, dude, the machining of that would be insane. I wonder
It,
what the break rate on that is.
go low and
You
slow on the
know,
drill, I guess.
very, yeah, because that's a lot to hone out. Like, if the case, obviously they must have gutted most of it on the middle to make
Yeah.
it at least liftable, and also the power cord goes through it, right?
Yeah. I guess maybe they're just good in that they don't break that many, but maybe that's also why it's bespoke, because like you can go slow, right? Like your
Yeah, I wonder
order
what the
will arrive
production
in like
time on
6
that is.
months or something.
Yeah, I wonder what the production time is on that to actually make this the way it is. But yeah, it's a fantastic idea.
I mean, yeah, it's I like it a lot. I just don't like the price, obviously.
Yeah, but if you build some billionaire mansion, that's your pretty much your Aston Martin key tray.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's
yeah,
kind
that's
of
solid
interesting that
awesome.
you can pick so many kinds of marble as well.
Hmm. One would almost think that some of it may be artificial.
Yeah, I doubt that though.
Mm.
I mean, you have all sorts of marble, right? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
But yeah, that definitely looks ballers.
it's would I proudly own one? Yes. Would I pay for it? No.
I wonder if that was the company that actually did the original marble one,
I don't know. Could
and then
be.
they just, couple bong hits later, they took it out to a next level.
I mean,
Because
I
that's
guess they are
insane.
Italian, so who knows?
But yeah, I do like it. I do like it. It's a nice direction to go. But I would really like to see a newer product from come out pretty quickly here, because we are.
Well, we're nearly at the year's end, or like how B&O does their year, right?
Yeah. Soon enough, it'll come out. See, that is cool. I like that. I wonder how, like, it has to be mounted on a metal of some sorts too. Too bad they didn't center the plate. Call this, man. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Or somebody nudged it during the show.
I doubt it, but I don't think this is a piece you take on and off again, because like what you're showing underneath isn't exactly pretty.
Mm. But yeah, it looks cool.
Does marble ever go out of fashion? Not really.
I think certain colors of it maybe, but if you have like a white marble countertop, that'll never go out of style,
Yeah,
in
I
my
was just gonna
opinion.
say I don't think I've ever thought of Carrera marble going out of fashion, which is
That but what is it? The teal nonsense on the theater maybe, but like if you put it in a white marble, like with nice marbling through
yeah.
it, I guess, no pun intended. I think that would look sick. Have some nice black veins or golden veins go through it. But yeah, very interesting how they would cut that thin sheet of a marble and put it on to they had to put it on some sort of a backplate
Yeah, it's not like you
on the
can
theater.
steam it and bend it or something.
No fucking way, man. It's insane. Or it's just printed, and we're here oodling over a freaking
Yeah, but then
plastic dip or whatever they
can
call
you
it, water
still call it
transfer print.
natural stone at that point? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is all marble, and like these
Oh
people.
yeah, no, I'm not doubting that. I'm just really wondering how they accomplished that for the theater stand top cover.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's one of these like diamond infused pieces of string that they cut marble with, right?
mm, but yeah, you can't be more than a few millimeters on that thick.
Yeah, but you probably start off relatively thick and sand it down like crazy.
Probably. Once it's glued to some sort of a substrate that you can work with.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I bet you it's not easy to do.
No, and I'm sure that the bloody platter costs more than the stand itself, if not the theater together sitting on it.
I mean, the same way the Ferrari edition, just the logo costs more than almost the entire theater.
I like the refinement when it comes to the Ferrari. I think ironically, I find the most refined product is the Beosound Explorer because it's double anodized, and because of the micro chamfering around the edges, it makes it much more smoother on the edges to grab. It's not as sharp. Let me explain what I mean. Where you have, because they had to run it down, so there is a little bit of a 45 on each side, so it's much smoother to the touch, where the other ones are sharper.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no anodizing dark gray on the inside of the rings and then anodizing it red over top of it. So that's why they machine that.
Well, you
so
also probably
the red
cut
color
your hands
comes in.
open if they didn't machine those edges off.
Well, but they're not machined on the silver, dark, or a black anthracite. It's much sharper. They're only machined on the Ferrari because the anodizing catches better, so you don't have the crust, right?
Interesting.
So that's why, like this one, the justification and production cost is there because of it. And, being able and lucky enough to go through the anodizing factory twice in Struer, I definitely appreciate how they would do it, because that's a pain in the penis. Because in between those anodizing processes, you can't scratch or dent or touch or anything, right? Because it's ruined. It won't catch on that side, or on that surface. But yeah, Ferrari is nice. I like that. I'm thinking of getting another one in what's that? A bonfire orange color. I kind of like that. It's very bright.
I bet.
And I think we should get a couple of those bonfire orange remotes in silk, especially for people with dark couches, because like even
those what in Canadian they'll be like 800 Canadian or something, probably, because they're like $550 now or something like that.
Yeah, they're $600 regular. I think they're 900 bespoke, something around there.
It's an expensive remote, man.
Yeah. I hope they come up with a replacement soon. I've been saying it for the last 12 years now. Well, the first 2 years I was kind of okay with it, but so let's say a decade now. But yeah, this would look sick, man. The theater with the aluminum grill. Not necessarily in the darker color. I'm not really a fan of that, because there's nothing you can combine with it other than the 50s. And if your 50s don't fit with your setup, or you don't want the 50s, then you're kind of hooped and you have a theater off color with everything else, unless you go with like
90s.
Black anthracite, or you go with 90s, and then you still have to go bespoke. Like if the 50s don't fit, the 90s won't fit, Collis. That doesn't make sense. But if you go with anything smaller, then there's nothing in the product line that would match this color wise.
I think if you get the 90s in like your white or the off-white and ask for the aluminium to be done in the sort of silk, you get pretty close to this if you don't put them right next to each other.
I would like to get that grill in polished aluminium, just to go with the rest of the facade of the theater.
Well,
I think
apparently it's a custom order
killer.
that you can put in.
So
yeah,
but am I prepared to pay $5,000 for it, or wait another month for Tigrino to come up with a solution?
According to GoPlaw, it's €2,200. So in Canadian, that's what, 3.5.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the Ferrari editions, the Beosound 2 is, I think, still my favorite. In real life, it's even nicer than this.
It looks beautiful in real life, yes. I do agree with that.
I mean, I really like the two-tone, and also that the place you actually touch the most isn't red.
Well, the touch interface is just a plastic, right?
No, but the volume ring.
Yeah.
I mean, I end up touching the volume ring the most.
It's a piano black. I don't remember, for God's sakes, anymore, if it was piano black or if it was that special dark gray color. I think it was piano black.
I mean, it's just the price is a bit steep.
Yeah. Yeah, it is piano black. I'm just glad they took out the Google Assistant from everything. I got a warning on my TV saying that the Google Assistant will no longer be available. They're
Good.
taking it out. So I'm
Good.
kind of happy. Yeah. And for some reason, it's completely fucked off with those private user agreement pop-ups. It's no longer happening.
Maybe you agreed to all the important ones already.
Well, no, I agree to the first two. They're agreeing, right? They're necessary, right? Like blah blah and blah blah blah, and the rest, I'm not giving you consent for the microphone usage and data usage and my consumption data usage. No, I'm certain that the Google harvests enough of that information through the YouTube, anyways.
Yes.
So I don't need LG to push that bullshit through to their servers. But yeah, it's just a shame.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I've been railing against this for years, and I was in the minority, but I think people are catching on. Google doesn't need to be in everything; it already isn't too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish there was a way to just disable that or firmware somehow override the old GVA stuff, like level that I have in GVA, to change it to non-GVA.
I think you can buy the chip and put a new one in. A non-GVA chip.
I might have to look into it because I tried it here when I swapped the chip from non-GVA to GVA on the emerges, and it wouldn't work. But I think it must be because it's pre-programmed EEPROM and serialized and so on. So I might just have to get one that is serialized from BNO directly and go from there. So
yeah,
we'll see.
It's a bit. I wasn't aware either when I bought my Beosound 1, right? Like that this is unavoidable and there's like it changes the operation of the device.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no real way to fully shut it up or to stop listening.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. Like, well, at the time I was high on Google still, remember?
Yes.
I had the whole house all fucking done with the
You went, hey, Google, move my
IFTTT.
TV. I want to have a cigar or whatever.
Yeah, and then, things would happen. But that was all done through the IFTTT, but also through Google voice commands, custom made to the gateway and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, now more and more I think about it,
They know
it's
too
not
much.
needed. They know, fact, well, it's too late for that. But I don't mind. I think the Halo helped the most in that whole thing with the gateway because it does work quite well. And I found out finally, not coincidentally, but through a business to business courses that I did on Friday, actually, like the hotel room setups for the theaters and such.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that I was doing it wrong with the commands being set. So in the gateway, you create a macro, right?
Yeah.
Or BLI, you create a macro that I would trigger from the moment with a light command from the A5 or A3 keychain, whatever the heck it was. Remember the little IR keychain, and that would go and trigger either leaving or welcome macro. Depends on 1 second or 2 second presses. If I do the same from the Halo and I would press leaving, it would shut all the lights off, but then it would return on the bedroom underneath the bed LEDs and the foyer for no reason. And when I was doing that course, it said like they were doing it. You actually don't even assign the Halo button, because I was assigning the Halo button as a trigger. You essentially just set it as a scene in the Halo, and then you pick the scene, which is the macro that you want to trigger, and now it works fucking flawlessly. I also had found out that there is a way to disable the entire touch panel.
Huh? Okay.
and save the screenshot of it. It's pretty simple command prompt, but I think what I'll do, I'll reach out to a B2B
Yeah.
department and ask for the file, and then you can through USB-C stick you can upload it to your theater, and it'll disable all the buttons on the top.
Yes, please. Because I
It's
don't
very
need it.
simple.
Like, the theater and floor stand are incredibly strong, and I don't mind my cat sitting on it. And she never goes after the cloth. It's never like I sit on it and
Mhm.
she just sits on it, right? But there's my buttons.
And volume
And
and play.
yeah, and the thing is, if you have one of the my buttons set to like Deezer or whatever, but it's not Flow, it will always start with the same song in the playlist. So for whatever reason, right? Like Deezer has decided that a Billie Eilish song is number one in one of these playlists. So I've had so many mornings where it's like I wake up
Fucking
to this
cat.
song.
The fucking cat. You already know it's the cat. Oh no. But yeah, there is a way to do it. There's definitely a way to do it. I have the. Did I email you that? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. Marky Meister said this. The Cyprus dealer. Are they going out of business or something? Because this is actually quite cheap for like a Riva edition A5. 1800 euro.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But I just that for the sake of cool, it's cool. But I just don't have a need for it. Okay, let's go here. Fuck, I would have sworn I sent it to you. Let's go Gmail. It's only a screenshot, so I don't know how the file ends, but I'm sure that there's enough brain power in Discord to figure out. Come on, compose. Let's see. What is that website?
It's in the chat. It's Prestigio Plaza. It's the B&O dealer on, was it Cyprus? Yeah. I mean, this is actually almost the current normal price for like a regular silver one, and you can get it for the zesty orange or any of the other Atelier colors.
Okay, you should have it.
I mean, the Ferrari edition is 500 euro less than on B&O's own website, which is kind of nice.
Busted 82 says I use theater buttons often.
Ow.
You're probably one of the very few people, honestly, that are doing that. I don't walk up to my theater. Like, I have remotes. I have 5 remotes in the house. I don't fucking need to touch it, honestly. And an OCD within me wouldn't let me, because when you touch it, there's a fingerprint left on the glass. And I don't like that. And wiping that, you trigger all kinds of nonsense that you don't want that you want to trigger. But yeah. So that's that.
Apparently, you can buy from them the Beosound Theater Ferrari edition by itself. Interesting. And you can buy it up to 77.
Interesting. So it's just the wings that are obviously different. Does it update? No.
Huh.
On its own, that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Are they a big dealer? It doesn't.
I
They
don't
got a
know.
lot of stuff.
God, I don't remember. Like, I've been to Cyprus, but it's a long ass time ago. I mean, the Be 50 Ferrari editions are still like 88,000 euro. It's just like, oh, oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be a set in Toronto, I think, soon.
Warranty is wrong, by the way. That should be 36 months.
I don't see it. 24 months. Oh yeah. Interesting. Powerful floor standing speakers.
Well, they're not wrong, but it's
They are powerful as fuck. But yeah, 24 months they got that wrong. Yeah. I don't know. There's shit's everywhere, but I wonder how it's gonna change with the obviously the tariffs are going to play a role. I don't know if most of those tariffs are implemented or not, because it's like a talk that it's a threat and then it doesn't happen and it does happen, and I don't fucking really know because I don't have the time to follow all this nonsense. But
it seems like they're just gonna put a worldwide price increase of 10% on everything, regardless. I mean, I asked on Discord, like, what's the over-under, essentially, if, like, let's say, for whatever reason, we come to a trade deal between the US and the rest of the world, right? But they've already implemented the new price. Are they going to take it off again? No. So, actually, the price increase, in my mind, then says this is nothing to do with tariffs. You just want to make stuff more expensive. I mean, the tariffs is an excuse, right? And it's like, it happens
it's
now.
A good segue. Yeah, it's a good segue into putting a little more on top of it. But I totally, it's not gonna, just like the taxes never go down. Fuck, it's what it is. That's what we're gonna end up paying.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're slowly pushing it out of the affordability levels, I think.
I mean, if the 90s also go up like 10 or whatever percent, we're almost at 200 grand USD then. Like at 195. So with tax, you're over. It's like, God, 90s used to be a nice BMW, right? But now we're talking like Porsche Turbo S or like Ferrari territory.
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite a big difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And
that is a big difference, but
God, it feels to me like I'm not sure I can be like a new customer for a lot of things much longer.
Well, I'm glad that I'm kind of tapped out with everything that I have because I don't have any more rooms to put B&O into. And the only thing that I see myself buying in the near future, if I'm even going to go that route, is a BeoConnect core for my shape when I put it together. But by doing that, I lose the IR, which is important.
Yeah.
So, right now I like, I have the Avant in the bedroom, and I like the fact that it's IR because then it works with the BO time, and I'm not, I have 2 more BO times to go through in my lifetime. So I have, and this one is almost 10 years old. Yeah, because that one I bought the whole batch of them. Remember from Eric in Australia? He was listing them on eBay or whatnot, and I bought all. I think I bought 4 of them that he had left. And I have 2 more in mint condition in packaging. I sold one, I believe, if I remember correctly, and then I have one that the speaker cord broke in it, so it doesn't chime anymore, but it still works and triggers the everything. So, but that one's packed away.
I mean, I don't know about any of you, but like my income hasn't risen at the speed of B&O's price increases.
Oh, dude, if it, I would be rolling in fucking money if it did. I would be rolling in money if it did. If my income was raises were correlated to the B&O price increases, I think I'd be doing pretty well by now.
I mean,
Because since the time I bought the 90s, I would be making 3 times more money.
yeah. I mean, I want them to survive, and if that leaves me out of it, then okay. And I'll maybe find a way in the second hand eventually, but but it used to be like buy something new on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
Big or large, right? There have been years where it was large and others when it wasn't, but at this point, it's like if a Beosound 2 is even like approaching $4,000, it's like, whoa.
It's an expensive bathroom speaker, you know.
And don't get me wrong, I love a Beosound 2. It's especially in these shape-shifting colors and whatnot. But like, dear Lord.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where, you know, you got to really reconsider what you're going to do, if you're going to buy or not. For me, like I said, I'm glad that I'm tapped out. You know, you can't go past the 90s because there's nothing better at this point of time. You know, I'm not really planning on getting rid of them in any point.
No, I understand, but like and this is the weird part, right? Like for me too. Like if I were to start over, like if currently I was looking into B&O, it would almost be a no-go compared to what I have now, which is like insane. Like I am sort of lucky that you.
I would slightly disagree, but I understand exactly your point. But I think that the thing is with people of nowadays that they don't know what the prices used to be 5, 10 years ago. And they don't have that reference point that we've had as a long-term fans, right? When you see the company going up and up and up and up in price yearly by year, quarterly by quarterly almost, right? So it's much tougher than for somebody that, you know, doesn't even watch your podcast, completely out of the element, and just come in as like, you want a premium soundbar? It's $26,000 in the honey tone. If you want it like that, it's like, okay, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, but like, let's say you're 90s, right? Like, let's say you didn't have them and thought of buying them now.
No way. There's no way.
I mean, beyond the fact of if you could, would you?
I would have a hard time letting go of that much money now.
Yeah.
For a speaker set. Also, given the fact that I think I had the most golden times with those speakers in that old apartment building in Calgary. Not old, but, you know, it was a brand new building. I was by myself, so I could really enjoy them. Where here, I have a speaker preset that goes to kitchen that I had deleted them from it because I don't really want to have them turn on for the fucking YouTube videos when I watch and cook. It's no point. And most of the time now, like with my girlfriend, if we go watch a movie, we retire in the bedroom because, you know, it's a 55-inch Avant in there. It's not bad. It's a 19 with the lap fours as the rears. The only thing that sucks, the fucking Roku player doesn't play surround.
Yeah, so, but that's a Roku player thing, not a B&O thing.
I know. I bought an Apple TV. I just need to. I'm waiting for an Amazon order. I bought these cables, which is a figure 8 female to a figure 8 Y splitter. So I can connect the cable that I have existing because I don't want to pull more wire, especially electrical. So I connect the existing cable going into the TV, into that splitter, and then one goes into the Apple TV and the other one goes into the panel itself. And that way I can get back my sanity and surround. But it's not going to be fun to work on that STB bracket from behind. But that's just what's going to have to happen. But I still love the Avant. Is such a good TV, man. I still love the mechanics of it. And I wish that B&O did something cool like that again.
Yeah, you know, but like, would you change it
the
for a
harmony
theater
type of thing? Not in the bedroom. because theater sticks out too much into the like walk-in space. So the Avant is already encroaching
Uh,
enough where the V1 didn't as much, but the Avant is much thicker. But I would not put the theater there
would
because I
you?
would hit it too many times.
Okay, would you get something of equal value to the theater for the bedroom?
Like what?
Whatever. Let's say they come out tomorrow with a BeoVision 16 that has the 14 and 11 proportions, but in 65-inch, but is like that thick. But it costs like, I don't know, in Canadian, 20 grand. Would you do it for the
No,
bedroom?
no, not yet, or at least no way. Like I put the TV there because there was nowhere else to put it. But
Yeah.
I've never been a TV guy to the extent that like my girlfriend converted me to, I guess. But no, if it was to be my way, and I didn't have anybody that I would like that I would spend and split my time with, I would have put the fucking shape on the wall in the bedroom and just call it a day. Have those 12 tiles with 4 speakers sitting there, and I'd be happy.
I mean, I want
So
BeoPlay back, essentially. Like the proper BeoPlay.
that'd be cool. Like I don't know if they should dabble into the TVs, but I think that they should come out with
Well, but
a surround package like the BeoLab 1415 or BeoPlay 4. No, I guess it was BeoLab 1415s that came out. That was
yeah, or even a
a perfect
V1
match.
type sound bar deal.
Yeah,
And then make it look cheaper. Make it your sub brand, like it was.
yeah, it'd be kind of tough to do, I guess, but kind of not. I don't know.
Well, the whole point of BeoPlay at that time was, right, like nobody could buy the main brand anymore because it was too expensive. So to keep afloat, we started to sell a bunch of stuff that was similar but of less quality, because instead of aluminium, it had metal painted. But it was still nice. It was still very.
The quality was still there, dude. I fucking love my V1. I hated that TV in the beginning when it came out because I didn't understand, like where the angle was. But it saved BeoPlay saved B&O back in the day too. Montoni did save them with it.
But we're back
And
at the
now,
position where like nobody can afford the main brand, so
yeah, but they kind of fucked up because they amalgamated the BeoPlay into the Bang & Olufsen now, right? So there is not really much of a BeoPlay.
yeah, I agree. But that's why I was against it at the time.
Like the BeoPlay now is disseminated to basically headphones because the Beosound A9 used to be a BeoPlay A9, like that came on under the core products of BeoPlay.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Max saying, BeoPlay is almost everyone I know how they got into the B&O. And yeah, it's true. It was a very good system, and it gave you that initial experience. You still got the BO4 remote, you have the puck table, you had the surround, so you could buy the BeoLab 14s back then, or 14.4 or whatever, right? If you had the TV, hook it up to power links and just blast away. So
Yeah. I mean, was I supposed to show this notepad command
nah,
thing?
I'll keep it for now.
I
But at
really want
least
to upload that file into my theater because I never
yeah, I
used the
just don't know how it
touch.
ends. I just don't know how it ends because it's not all of it, right? And he never
Yeah.
scrolls down in the video. Otherwise, I would have probably compiled it somehow, put it together. But maybe email Christian and see if he has the end game of that.
Send me that file. I want to upload it.
Because I think once you factory reset the theater, it'll default everything back to normal operation.
Yeah,
But you
that's
have
fine.
but you have the ability to disable the buttonage, which at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind doing. Also, and mind completely disable all of that except just keep the Bang & Olufsen logo lit up with the proximity sensor on, and that's it.
Oh, people were asking for my living room tour, house tour, whatever. I took a shot of the living room earlier. Don't
Make
mind
another coffee.
the full-on mess. But
You tour, I'll make myself a cup.
well, it's not really a tour; it's just a picture.
Tour the picture.
I mean, everything is in one picture because like wide camera angle lenses exist now.
Get one of those that sees behind you and shit.
Almost, yeah. So yeah, for the people asking, this is it. Don't mind the kitty or the mess.
But you will do mind the kitty when she sits on your my button when you have 2 pairs of 50s and 3 pairs of 17s.
Oh well, this is Winston. He doesn't do any of that. He's a good boy. It's only one of the 3 cats. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, and this is also partially where I'm saying, right? I know what I have now with like 2 sets of 50s, and I just, at modern day prices, I just can't. Like, I also couldn't even justify it. Like,
personally, what I'm gonna start doing more or less is stocking up on spare parts on the things that I own.
yeah, makes sense.
You know, if I'm gonna save up for anything, I'm gonna save up for a suitcase for the 90s. So I have all the boards. Then I would buy a battery pack for the Beosound 1 because that's never been used and I don't know how long these last, right?
Yeah.
And I would definitely, I'm going to buy a couple DSE boards for the BeoLab 18 because they're the same through 17, 18, and 19. It's the exact same board. And maybe a couple WISA modules for them too.
Do you need to program them at all for the 17 or 18?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the service tool so I can just serialize them on my own. But yeah, that's the only thing that I would stock up on because it's not that I just don't like sending stuff to service because I know that it'll never come back the same. There's always that little nick and ding that happens, and I know because I see it.
Well, they also don't take the same care as you do about your stuff.
Well, that's first of all, but they don't take the same care. Like I take that same care all the way to the service center. What happens there, it's out of my control and element, right?
Yeah.
But if we're working on shit in the store, like yeah, there's proper padding, all this, you know, wear my little grounding bracelet so I don't zap shit, and and yeah, but you know, I don't let stuff go out with dents and whatnot. So, but yeah, the Epic Bio Center too. That thing should have been a Blu-ray so long ago, man. Call this.
Yeah, even if it was a 1080p Blu-ray, it would have been nice.
Yeah, because it would have an HDMI output, and you could have plugged it into the theater and listened to your Pink Floyd and surround and quadraphonic, bro.
Yeah, currently it's attached to these 50s in the back. And the record player is attached to it.
Nice.
Because it's more like, I don't listen to CDs on the couch. Like, that's the digital realm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a, like, I don't know, you're doing puzzles or eating or whatever. So these are plenty here.
Oh, fuck, right. Yeah, it looks good.
I mean, I have a BO4 and this one here for Essence Remote for controlling it if I want to.
I really wish that they come up with something like an Essence Remote Mark II. It's such a great remote.
It's one of the best.
And again, it's proven itself to be the best year after it's been discontinued.
Yeah.
I love that remote. I still have one extra one brand new in box. I'm not unpacking it here, but I have 2 of them in the bathroom. And they just work great, man. Not really need for it here, but in the living room. But I do like them. I do like them.
I'm still in love with my separated setup. I just need a bigger screen.
Mm-hmm.
I want that 97-inch OLED to become affordable.
Yeah, movies would be definitely something you would shit a brick over here.
Oh, the people that have been here know.
Yeah.
God, one of the most ridiculous, but one of the best investments has been the rear 50s.
Oh, I bet. Oh, and you have the Mercedes grills all the way around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Fucking A.
Of
Fucking A,
course.
bro. I like those oak panelings too. They're really neat.
Well, the way this place was situated, right? Like, it's the best I could do with how close it had to be to the wall. It's not exactly.
Ideal.
Well, it's not exactly close to the wall, but it like the two on the left, front and back, right? They have much more breathing space.
Yes.
And I could move it over, but then the TV is no longer in the center because currently it doesn't really look it. But the difference between this right speaker and the left speaker is like less than 10 centimeters off perfect triangle. If you sit, I don't know, within this 4 feet off the couch. So if you sit like with your sort of with your ass against the armrest, as if you were to like properly sit, you sit in the perfect triangle. So, but like just the sound dampening artificially makes the room a bit larger for the drivers that are facing back, and to me it just looks nice. I mean, it does help with some of the reflectivity in the room.
Yeah, I just need a larger screen now. Again.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna spend, what is it, 22 grand on a screen that'll maybe last 6 years.
Yeah.
Because it's still OLED, right? Like if LG made that size with maybe not as dark but similar dimming, but in LCD, I would buy it sooner. But there's nothing that works as integrated with the theater. And it's mostly like, I mean, OLED is by design has limited lifespan.
Yeah.
The only 17 you can't see is on the left around the corner here. But the 17s do add a lot of height dimension, yeah.
You don't use the internal height speakers in the theater anymore, I guess, at all.
No, I have 17s for that. They're way better.
No shit.
I mean, I
Yeah,
did
that
actually
looks good.
change the roll selection slightly
In?
in what is, right? So like the front 50s are front left and right, which is normal. Then the front 17s are front height left and right.
Yeah.
The back 50s are actually surround. The rear height 17s are the backs, and these are the surround heights in the middle. The reason I did that is the 50s image far enough out that works just fine, but also it's kind of, I mean, in terms of like Pythagoras, right? Like these 17s are further back in real life anyway. But for any of the 5.1 sources, I found with like some critical listening, when these were the rear 50s were set as rears or backs, whatever you want to call it, they would kind of be true imaged in instead of being like worked to their full potential. Because before, these in the middle were the regular surrounds, not surround heights, and these were the surround heights, the back 17s. So you were kind of using like predominantly like 50s front and 17s for a 5.1 source, and the rest was sort of true imaged in. But this way, when you play a 5.1 source, the 50s are front, left, and back or surround, and the 17s are true imaged in.
Which makes way more sense.
Yeah. It took a bit to like figure that out because it's not logical from a setup point, but B&O in the theater is so flexible that it autocorrects for itself that way.
Yeah, no, it's gotta be the movie day. The proper movie day there one day.
I mean, the only thing I guess could ever change the setup is like if some dealer or you like go absolute bankrupt and need money tomorrow for a set of 90s on the cheap. And then I guess I can either sell a set of 50s or move the front ones to the surround position and put the 90s up front.
Or drill a hole in the floor where the cat sits a little bit further and put them as surrounds.
Yeah, something like that.
Or move them in another room.
Gopula asks, would I ever change the 17s to 8s at some point? Well, I have a set of 8s. Where do I bend? This way. And I was thinking of either like moving the Beosound 2 to somewhere here because I have the 10-meter cable, so I can put it anywhere really. The box is under here, but like I was thinking of adding some 8s here and here on the wall, on the left.
4 shits and giggles.
Yeah, more speakers. DPL them so I can use the My buttons because the kitchen is behind here on the left. So every time I walk by and I want to start YouTube or Deezer, I can just do it on top of one of the speakers. Would I change the 17s for 8 on the top? Probably not.
I wouldn't. I honestly, like, for the amount of interface that the 8s offer, it's almost a shame to put them that high up because you'll just let that glass be eaten by dust.
Well,
but then again, if you want them as a dumb speaker, you have to kind of sacrifice that. So,
I mean, I also paid for these 6 17s. I think I collectively paid like €4,500 or something like that. One set of 8s is what, like 6? I mean, I have a set of 8s, but like if I need to buy 2 more sets, right? Like, God, I'd almost rather like look for another secondhand set of 50s.
But what's the point of fixing something that's not broken? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I also.
It's not like you're using fucking Canton or something that is not even voice matched in the profile of the Beosound theater software. Like it's 17s, bro.
I think the 17s also voice match the 50s quite well. The 8s are actually quite close. They're not as different as the 28s are. But also, I mean, these are quite skinny, and I have all the wall mounts, and like, it like they don't visually take up that much space off the wall, where the 8s are surprisingly thick.
I don't think that aiming the surround height speakers when you have 2 pairs of 50s are going to make that much difference as the height effects. To answer to or to comment on Gopilel's comment there, that you could aim the 8s. With the 50s, the imaging is so well performed, and even it's just like in the 90s that you don't really need like a lot of that stuff. Like in my opinion, like the 17s up top are almost superficial with the imaging of what the 50s can do.
I mean, they're also all angled, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're aiming towards the room.
Yeah, so the ones upright are angled in, back and front. And this is partially why this one is like this, because it's angled like slightly down.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that isn't angled is the one that you can't see around the corner here, because it's so far away. The regular angle is fine.
Mm-hmm.
almost. So like it may look like they're pretty straight, but they are on a level sense, but they're all angled in.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Oh,
whenever I
cool.
turn radio on, it's just 17s. Like there's no.
That's cool. How many speaker presets do you have, for the love of God? It's like
So I have
TikTok,
50s.
TikTok.
God, at least 15. I think.
Jesus fuck. Yeah, now I don't wonder why you aching when you have to, or belly aching when you have to reset your theater.
Yeah, I mean, so I have 50s by themselves, right? I have 17s front by themselves. I have the theater by itself. I have the theater with the 17s as a surround setup. I have the 17s as a radio setup, no theater. I have the 50s in narrow, which is another one. I have all the 50s together, nothing else in wide and in narrow.
Carl, listen, you do like a fucking open house on Saturday and you go through all the speaker presets with people?
Well, people
Like,
have heard some of
you
it.
get more presets than we have in the shop.
Yeah. Well, I'm not there yet.
Holy fuck. That's funny.
Well,
Wow.
the thing is, right, with was it the last update or the one before, you had to also choose which, if you wanted high or low latency in the app for every speaker
Yes.
preset.
Yeah. So
Which is kind of annoying because, like, if you, I don't know, let's say you want to listen to the 50s YouTube, right? For if somebody's speaking at you, it has to be low latency. But let's say you want to listen to some music. If you want a bit better quality, you have to use the high latency. Like so you have two instantly there.
Here's the thing that I had found out about that with the low latency, high latency playback. I have high latency on music side, right? Because why not? If I'm playing the theater in low latency, let's say I have it in the kitchen and then I joined all the rooms. So the clock master,
Yeah.
right, is set to synchronize with low latency. And then I switch to stereo narrow on the 50 or on the 90s. It fucking everything else is delayed. I have to rejoin to the new clockmaster set in the theater again. It doesn't resynchronize when you change from low to high latency. So when I switch to music, I have to go, if I'm listening to a level or whatever, I have to go back and rejoin it to the same source to resynchronize itself. Play pause doesn't fix it.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. It should dynamically do that, you'd think, but
I think that clockmaster is set prior to the delays that need to happen with the latencies that are pushed down to the 50s or 90s. That's what I suspect. That's why when you join the other products, like the clockmaster is set to, okay, I'm synchronizing to this timeline with everything, right? But then the speaker preset changes and that delay is now set to something different, but it doesn't change the clockmaster alignment. That's my suspicion that that's what's going on. But it's not a big deal because I've put it into a macro that I have now a cleaning mode. So if I put it to cleaning mode, I start the theater first, and then 2 seconds later, everything else joins, and there's no issues. You can fix it all with BLI.
yeah, that's the only place where, like, I sometimes go, like, home automation. I could do that.
See, like the gateway, you don't have to technically tie it into your lighting system or everything else. Like, it's not like...
I know, but it's like $2,000 almost with the pro license and everything, and it's... I mean, you end up in the situation where, like, I'm already, like, balls deep. I might as well go the whole way.
Fuck, man, Going into the lake only sucks once the balls hit the water, and then you're fine. You just swim, dude. So you got the water hit the balls hard, so you might as well just go under and dive. Get your hair wet, bro. Get some water in your heaters. Gateway is the way, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then your halo is much cooler. You could also change you can fuck with your lights, the LEDs, right? The Philips Hues. You
Yeah.
can put them on the little turny wheel so they change colors and shit. It's a lot of laughs.
Actually, I need to take a leak real quick.
Well, you go ahead and do
Go,
that.
go. Tell me what's wrong in my setup, people. Let me know.
I don't think anything's wrong. I think
Oh, 50% say it is.
the only thing that I would change is I would paint that wall plug on the top left BeoLab 17 because it kind of irks me in the top, but that's about it. LDSS 450s are insane. That would be like 140K with tax in the US. Like just to think about that for a second. Yeah, but we've bought our speakers way before the astronomical price increases have happened. So yes, it is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Like this is the most money I had ever spent on a sound system when I bought my 90s, and people looked at me like, I'm out of my mind. But it's been 9 years ago, and I've never regretted purchasing the set. And I guess a lot of that has to do with my passion and love for the product and the brand and so on. But if I were to win a lottery, I would probably just buy another set of 90s to complement those and move somewhere the fuck out in the mountains so I don't disturb anything else but deer and elk and moose or meese, I guess. Moose. Yeah, they don't have plural for those. But that's what I would do. I would definitely. I wouldn't build a big house, but I would build enough house that I could fit those two pairs of 90s in it comfortably. And I would probably do a ceiling setup. I would get a couple of palatials for the Atmos.
I have a really odd question I came into. If
What?
you were to run into like the lottery, right, and you buy another set of 90s,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to put your old babies in the back, or are your old babies still your babies and those will be in the front?
I don't think it would make any difference.
I know it doesn't, but emotionally it will.
No, the new ones would go in the back.
That's what I ended up doing as well.
Fucking rights, they would go in the back, man. You guys, you don't have the seniority, bitch, to be at the front. So no, I would put them in the back.
I knew it didn't make any logical sense, but it's sort of like that's what I ended up doing as well. Like the original ones are the front ones.
Or maybe I would rotate them for the sake of like I'll give the old timers a little break so the new ones can juice the most, right? Because the sound comes out of the front the most. Maybe I would, semi-retire them to the back, but I have the skates, so it wouldn't be a big deal. It's just, I have to retune everything and blah blah blah, fucking first world problems. But yeah, I think I would do them. I would leave them in the front for a while. I think, because why not? And maybe I would do the palatials, or I would do the shape with amplifiers ran somewhere in the rack and put a like a significant amount of tiles on the ceiling to have Atmos speakers. Jabi says, Willie, do you think Harmony and Stage will get discontinued this year, or do you think it'll be possible to change the motherboard? I think that those two are on the way out. I think that I'm for certain the Stage will EOL this year because it's the only one ASC product that needs to be replaced.
Yeah,
and I'm
needs to
hoping
be.
I'm hoping that they are in works of I can only say so much, but the Harmony is going to go. They're not going to. B&O's never done it that they would put another an improved board per se, right? Like when the BeoVision 12 came out with the BeoSystem 4, yes, you could still run them. it's still a bad example. There's nothing that got changed,
Wait, you
over
dropped.
time. Like
It
the
was
fives
your
never
internet for
became.
once.
There
You
we go.
dropped.
But there was never like the fives never gotten improved in any way that they became WISA over time and whatever. And I think that would create. I think the only problem that they have created for themselves with that were the old BeoVision 11s, where the Mark ones were completely not different, but they looked the same. The grills weren't magnetic; they were on the clips, so the glass was prone to cracking. There was no WISA transmitter in them, so they were still just regular power link. And then they came out with you know, the WISA version of it, but that was the only upgrade. They didn't really change the operating system.
Well,
The BeoVision 14 that was a mistake to
not
begin
just
with.
that. If you bought the non-WISA before, you would get the WISA box, the transmitter.
With it, yeah.
Yeah, they would just give it to you if you wanted it.
So I don't think that they're going to go and replace boards or Mozartify the harmony. If they're gonna keep anything, maybe they will keep some sort of. I guess maybe they retain the motion in some way or the other. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to come up with a completely different BeoVision concept that is committed to as a flagship TV. Because right now, I think the theater is mowing its lawn pretty badly with that. But again, it's not really a flagship TV because it's a put together soundbar type of thing. No offense, and it's not like no offense. Fuck, I have the same thing, but it's still a Beosound theater, even though it
Yeah.
is BeoVision theater when it becomes on a floor stand and a panel on it and so on
Except
and so
for me
forth.
somehow in my app, but whatever.
But yeah, maybe because it knows that it's separated.
But maybe all the connections are there.
Maybe it measures the impedance of the cat cable connected between the theater and the screen. It says, "Fuck, this is 20 feet. There's no way, bro." But I think that the harmony is gonna meet its end very soon. If not this year, next year for sure. And they're gonna come up with something. Hopefully, they'll. In my biggest hope is that they disco the harmony before the November 17th, and on their 100th birthday, they come up with a kick-ass TV or some sort of something that is memorable to that day. Just like they were with the 90s on the 90th birthday. But they kind of, I think, overdone it with the 90s for the 90th because there's really, how do you top the top?
Yeah, you make it smaller or you go all out and make it much more expensive. Like a lot more expensive. You start off at those, what is it, Samurai Edition, whatever the fuck. You start off at like 250 grand, 300 grand.
But
I mean, if you really want the insanely wealthy, make something for them.
I'm gonna be beating the fucking dead horse with it again, but I really think that B&O is in the need of an actual audio streamer.
Yeah.
I committed, call it the old school term, the audio master, but I think that they are very much overdue for something that, has a WISA and a DPL capability, like, per se the moment used to with the WISA, but now it's a DPL, so you can control your speakers or the system vice versa from either endpoint. But I definitely would have really, really liked to see some sort of a high-end streamer, not BeoConnect Core. You can't call that a high-end streamer with couple options and no fucking display, and you're still tied to your phone, and it's not something that it's tangible. It's a hideaway box, even though it looks cool. It's never been meant to be played with of in any rate, shape, or form. So I think that they definitely are they are due. I don't understand what the logic behind it is. Maybe on their market research, it doesn't make sense to come up with the streaming device because we put the streaming engine in all of our speakers, so therefore it's not needed. But I think that the interface is needed as far as having something tangible in my house to come into and just press press play and the thing fires up and you have a display where you can browse your music and you don't have to be tied to your phone all the time, because it's never the fucking music that you start browsing on your phone. Like you pick your phone up and all of a sudden the music is playing to shits and you're sitting on Instagram scrolling through nonsense, or Facebook, or a message comes in, so now you're texting. Like, it's not that it's not an emotional commitment to music. There's always an interference, an interaction of some sorts that you shouldn't have.
Maybe odd question, but could they essentially make something that would function as that, but isn't in the sort of vein of the BeoLink 7000? Where like you have a remote that displays your album art, but just uses the internal streamer of, let's say, your theater.
That would make sense too.
But you get the album art. It sort of runs the app. You can like stuff. You can search for things.
Well, their counter argument, well, you already have a Halo, but
you
yes,
can't
Halo's
do all that
cool,
stuff on a
can't do
Halo.
anything with it. Like, Halo is much more. To me, Halo is not as much as an audio controller or a remote controller as much as it is a home controller, because it makes way more sense having a Halo on the wall with buttons that you press, and now you can do the volume wheel that controls the curtains up and down, or dims the lights up and down, or you press a fucking movie button and everything turns on to a certain way, and you have your movie macro going on and blah blah blah. But having something like the BeoLink 7000 would be fucking sick, with a nice huge OLED display, touchscreen, and maybe retain that mechanical movement. And when you put it on the counter or something, it lifts up. It would be sick.
Yeah,
they still could do it, and have obviously a lot more computational power in it at this point.
but it's also just pulling sources from what already has sources, right? Like it's just like a.
So you're just pulling the UI out of it.
Yeah, I mean if the Halo had a bigger screen, it would be much better. You could like instantly do that sort of stuff with it.
But that doesn't even need that big of a screen. If they just put a little empty heart beside the song and you click on it, it fills and puts it in your favorite.
I know, but there's no way for typing anything. There's no way for really searching anything.
Typing on this would be equivalent of a disaster as putting a Wi-Fi password into a BO6.
Yeah.
For all the people that can relate, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, essentially, you need something like the size of a phone or so.
Mm-hmm.
And all it needs to do, really, is just run the B&O app. You get
Pretty
Tidal,
much.
you get Deezer, you get your B&O radio.
Yeah.
I mean, that way you're also way less dependent on, like, external hardware and that sort of nonsense that killed the moment, essentially.
Mm-hmm. I think Moment was a great idea. It just was misunderstood, just like the Beosound 5 was at the time misunderstood, because it came out at the time where touchscreens became cool and everybody thought it was a touchscreen and whatnot. But I wouldn't. David says tablet. No, I don't think that they should come up with a tablet. They should come up with something that is more tangible, that you can either sit it on a desk and maybe have a removable interface from it. But I don't know. Like, they need there should be something that interfaces with your core products at home without a need for a phone or any auxiliary mobile device that you can just buy from B&O and have it there. Yes, you can do it with the tablet. You can run a BeoLiving intelligence app on your tablet, and then it becomes that. But still, you can press a home button and it goes to a fucking iPad, right? But if there's something that is solely just like, there is no other thing on it other than the screen and music interface on screen.
I mean, the only other thing it could potentially have on there is its own ecosystem, as in BeoLiving.
That, and it could also have,
but it doesn't need email. It doesn't need text. It doesn't need to take any calls.
No, it just sits on your network and talks to everything that you have from B&O. That's it.
Yeah. And that's all it needs to do. That's plenty.
And I think there is a hole and a void, because we used to have that. Like, B&O was all about the tangible contact with your music. Look at the 9000, look at the 3000, look at the 3200, the sliding doors, the the exposed CDs that you can look at, watch, and whatever. The Biocenter 2 with the leaves coming apart nicely and opening up, welcoming. Like it's something that it's fucking 17, 18 years old, and it still sparks the curiosity in people to like, what is that?
It's still very pretty.
Yeah. And it looks very B&O. But
Yeah.
having something with this kind of a design language, I don't think would be a bad idea.
No.
You know?
If it's going to run the app, I found another place for the app to complain about.
What's that?
If you update anything manually through the app, you're stuck.
What do you mean?
So, if let's say your theater has an update and you set it to manual, right? You go to the software update and it says install now, and you get that bubble, right?
Yeah.
There's no back.
No, you're fucked. It's
so
one-way ticket.
Everything else in your house is also fucked. So you just need to like literally swipe out the app and reload it if you want to go to any other product.
Yeah. No, I knew that because I've done it a couple of times. You can actually start multiple updates like that with in the house. That's what I've been doing too.
Yeah,
I
but
start the
it's
Beosound,
annoying, right?
Yeah, I do the stage and start updating, and I just close the app, reopen, and go to another stage, do the same thing. And yeah, it's weird that you can, but even though they tell you can close, they tell you can close the app and browse your phone like you normally would, which to me is like, okay, well, if I close the app, that means, well, the update is independent from the app anyways. It's just, it pulls the GUI and doesn't even show you the percentage. It's just spinning the bullshit. So yeah, I shut it down. I found that out a while back, and I'm like, that actually works. So
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep, indeed.
It's yeah.
But we need an audio master. We've been crying about this for a long time. Maybe that's what they'll come up with.
Or at least an audio controller that's not your fucking phone.
Yeah, and even like if they put it on a pedestal like Biocenter 2, something that is committed. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as easy to move, but that's the whole point of it. Like, why would you move it around? It's the same argument, or if anybody has that argument, then it's the same argument. Like, do you move around your fucking turntable from one room to the other? You don't.
Well, you don't need to because you have multi-room.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, as an audio source, like, you don't do that. It's the same thing with It's the same thing with that. Like, I would just have something that is committed. It's the same, I guess, if you put a Essence on the wall bracket, then it's on the goddamn wall bracket, right?
Yeah.
You don't move it around anymore.
No, yeah, I agreed. I mean, I hope they make something, a new flagship. I really loved the Harmony. It was really solid. So if they Mozartify everything... I mean, the Mark II thing, for people that don't know, is never been an official thing, essentially.
No.
The only thing I can think of where I'm not even sure if it was official or not was the Essence Mark II.
Essence Mark II, BeoLab 5 Mark IIs were different in a
they
way that
are
the
never
sockets
have
and the
never
power,
been.
but that's it.
They have never been official Mark IIs.
But people call them because the power supply sockets
but that's
changed.
that's
That's the only thing.
The customer side thing, right? Like,
yeah,
Eclipse has also never officially had a Mark II. They've had a redesign, but it was still just the Eclipse. It was never the Mark II. Mm-hmm. The redesignation was for us as customers and for dealers to make sense of it. But like internally on product documents, you'll never see .Mark II.
Yeah, on the exploded view, there's no Mark IIs. The only thing that differs is the aluminum pack that has different cutout, that if you have to order it, you need to order it specific to the stage or sound center you own or have to service.
I think partially is laws and regulations, right? As soon as you call it something else, it needs to be retested because who knows, it could be something else. Like, this is a lot of legalese. This is why I don't think they'll make a Harmony Mark II, just because it'll create confusion in the naming scheme. And I don't know, you could sell this poor soul a Mark II something when it's not, and they don't know. So there's a bunch of that. So same for the stage, right? I don't think they'll ever do a stage Mark II. because a
No,
bunch of
it's gonna
people
be called something else.
because just for the people that don't know, and it's most people, right? They'll read an article somewhere saying the stage will now do WISA, let's say, and they're going to buy a stage and think this will do WISA, and then it's the Mark One, and it won't, and everybody's annoyed. And it's just going to cause havoc, delay, and confusion, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they may have something that moves similarly or whatever, but it's not going to be called a harmony.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it's going to be a BeoVision Century or something like that.
That would make sense for a name.
Yeah. I mean, because out of all the things, right, the harmony is the only thing that actually has the space to, like, readjust motherboards and stuff. There's plenty of space in the back.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, it's nowhere near as tight as an Eclipse or BV11 or 14 or whatever. Like, you actually have quite some space to work in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of room in the harmony to work on for sure. Yeah, because they've gotten away with some of the boards are actually in the speaker panels too. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room in that TV. But if my guess, stage harmony 18s, possibly 19 EOL within the next year.
Well, the stage is not really the stage because it's also the contour.
Yes, but if they come up with something, they'll probably have to change, or the contour will also hit the EOL if the new redesigned soundbar or new product soundbar wouldn't fit inside the chassis.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But I think that the Lab 19 needs to go, unfortunately, or stay and get slowly phased out with the replacement that is DPL compatible, because you need something that is possible to tie into the BeoLab 8s and 28s in a stereo pair scenario. You should be able to add a subwoofer via DPL and have a much better sound, because it'll improve. It improves on the sound quality immensely, first of all. Second of all, it's not a convoluted setup where now the best way to do it is you buy a BeoConnect core with the transmitter, you set it to 2.1, run a power link, pair everything on the WISA, and then you still have to the interface on the speakers are useless because you don't even stereo pair them now. For what? And they still show on AirPlay as left and right. So
yeah, or the other way to do it wired through the core is just like loop it through, but then you get this sort of weird cable mess, and it's a settings mess. Where
it's easier
you
to
split
do
it to 18, but then from 118 you go back to the subwoofer and.
Yeah, but the crossover is not there. You're basically banking on the fact that the ABL is your crossover in the 18s. If you do it through the transmitter, then it's crossed over at 120 hertz, just like all the BNO has been designed for, and by default is in every single product.
Does a BeoLab 8 even work with the transmitter?
Yeah, they work.
Huh.
I paired the Lab 8s. I had one here for testing because apparently it had some Wi-Fi issues. So I paired it to my BeoVision Avant, and fucking no sound. I'm like, what is that? So I go to it identifies as other, but then you have to set it a role. So
yeah,
the best sound you will get out of the BeoLab 8s on the WISA with a non-compatible software like BeoVision Avant first generation per se is you set it as a BeoLab 17. They fucking bomb as BeoLab 17s. You put them as BeoLab 3 subdued, BeoLab 9s too muffled. It's weird how you can actually hear the difference in those filters that each speaker has deficiency in based on changing them as roles, because I played with it for a while. But 17s, if you assign BeoLab 17 profile on the WISA on the old Avant or anything, it sounds absolutely delicious. So, and yeah, they had no problem. I took it out, put it in my kitchen, and Avant is in the bedroom. It didn't drop, so there was nothing wrong with the speaker. But it could have been something wrong with the transmitter, because I think I did swap that transmitter as well. So, but yeah, they work no problem. And I find that the sound is better when you run them through the tranny with a 2.1 setting on, because then if you have a subwoofer, it crosses over properly. But where if you do that wire mess, it's not the most ideal, right?
No, you're sort of doubling up on
And into the
frequencies and sounds. And
28s, you got and into 28s, you got to go through the RJ45 splitter, right? Because they don't have a daisy chain. Now it makes sense why they have a network daisy chain, because they now treat DPL like the power link, so you can DPL from one to the other, but that's where it ends. It's not like the deep old power link where you can daisy chain up to 8 pairs of speakers off of one signal line.
yeah, if they have a new
So
subwoofer like that is DPLable as such, you would get back to the sort of situation the BLAP 2 was, right? With the BLAP 3s or 1s, where you could like have, back then it was wires, but one wire in that splits to your speakers, and your subwoofer
yes,
creams the bass off.
exactly, and that would be more or less like, it would be digitally crossed over and treated and coming out. It's interesting. That's an interesting thought.
Kabi says, I'll predict that in a year Mickey will have a 97-inch BeoVision Century. I predict the opposite. I may have a 97-inch panel, but not anything new underneath it.
Well, if it's Mozart, it really makes no sense. And quite honestly, for you, it makes absolutely no sense to upgrade, because no matter what you upgrade to, you're only using the center channel out of that entire equipment.
Well, not just that, right? There's the B&O tax on everything.
Of course, but I'm just saying, from if the money didn't matter, right? Like logically, there's really no rhyme and reason to upgrade, because even for me, like the theater is finally something that can vocally keep up with the 90s. Period. There was nothing before that. Like with my old Avant, I had to have the center completely turned off because it was irritating.
Yeah.
It really it negated the experience more or less than it was something positive. Where with this, like I didn't even have to go to the extent that you guys fucked around with Sundeep, where you assigned a left and right also into a center.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because then it's just Mother Mary cannons. Like there's no point. It's too much. Then the 90s get washed out, for God's sakes. So I don't. I have it set up. I played with a DPL when I'm still in the beta program, but when this was in the beta stages and whatnot, I ran 2 emerges in here. The problem with the emerges, if you have a speaker set this big, that it tones everything down to accommodate for the emerges, even though they're the rear surrounds, and then you ended up with measurements where the center channel is minus 3 dBs and your 90s are minus 6 dBs on each, because they, obviously they're trying to accommodate for this very little, tiny little book stand of a speaker. So I took them out. I still find the problem that if you delete speakers off your system, there is no real way to get rid of them other than factory resetting your theater, because they stay in the connected speakers as ghosts.
I'm so annoyed anytime a software
and it's a
fucks everything up.
A pain in the ass. It really is a pain in the ass, because it makes it difficult to for my setup. It's not much, right? Because I don't go full tilt on different speaker presets like Mikey, but I still have 5, right? It still takes time, and you don't have to necessarily retune the 90s because they're set where they are and they don't change, and they're too fucking heavy to move anyways. But every time there is, like when I did the DPL, I had to factory reset the theater, plug in the microphone, and retune everything, because I could not at all get rid of or delete, even though I've deleted all the speaker presets that these things, because I've created a separate speaker preset for them being enrolled in it without touching all the rest of mine. Call this, man. You can't, like, if once it's in there, it's in there. You can go to your ones that you never touched, and you go to the available speakers, and it says BeoLab or Beosound emerged left and right, rolls none. Like, well, not even supposed to be within these measurements.
Yeah.
And it's all at 0, 0. So yeah, that's a bug. still, in my opinion, I guess,
Go
where
factory reset, they said. It's like, I'm back 5-6 hours late. It's like, ugh.
hmm
Ugh.
well, it's easy to say when they assume that you have a pair of like 8s or 28s in the back, and it's a 15-minute ordeal, right? With one or two speaker presets. Especially like most of our clients that we have, it's shits on the wall, so there's not really that much to, you tune it for one location, widen it up a little bit, and that's that. And you do two presets, stereo and movie, right? Or music and movie, depends, because they the French like their quadraphonic here a lot for some reason. So
I like my quadraphonic. I have
I never
quadraphonic
was a
with
fan.
50s, right?
Well, I still, I you know what? I prefer the stereo. I honestly prefer the stereo. Maybe it's because of the 90s and the imaging. Maybe I would change my tune if I listened to two pairs of 50s in quad, but I still prefer the stereo. Call
Well,
me old fashioned.
it's not like I'm sitting in on my couch, right? When I do that, like I'm
Hmm
like walking around or playing with a cat,
That
or
makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, like if I listen to music, it's I sit in this chair and I listen to music.
I mean, most nights in the last 2 weeks, like there's this enormous sliding door. Like this door is, God, like 3 feet wide, and it's like in two pieces, and I slide the whole thing open and just jack up the music and sit outside.
Yeah, no need for the A5 to come out.
No. So, I mean, that works lovely. Like the rear right 50 is more or less halfway aiming outside by opening that door all the way. So,
Yeah, this would be good for the 90s to be in there because you have an omni mode.
yeah, I have front 50s and rear 90.
They don't call me backwards Billy for nothing. But yeah, that was the only time that I could actually utilize that was in my old apartment. Here, it doesn't make any sense, but uh, next place I'm gonna consider also that I could utilize that Omni mode because it sounds great.
I mean, thinking of a 97-inch OLED, I would maybe change the colors around, actually. Like, make this middle bit very dark, if not almost black, and have a much lighter color on the sides.
Mm.
So that, like, the TV is almost hidden in the paint, except for when you turn it on. Because
Get that obsidian black.
well, 97 will fit, right? But you have like 5 centimeters either side to put it in reference,
Mm.
and it'll be up to where like my mouse is more or less if you keep the same bottom edge.
Okay.
So it'll be enormous.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking big. 83 is already chubby enough there. Like this fits proportionately well, but yeah,
Yeah,
you'll have to change the paint on the room paint scheme.
because I mean, on the diagonal, it's what it's uh 14 inches larger. It's 14 inches larger on the diagonal, right? That's not nothing. That's like it's more than a
That's a
foot.
lot.
It's like on the
That's a
diagonal
lot.
is what, like 35 centimeters, 37 centimeters larger.
Yeah,
The
we've done an
88 inch
83
OLED
last
is
week.
even more expensive because that's an 8K panel, and I
Hmm
don't want 8K. It makes no goddamn sense.
No, it makes no. There's nothing for it. We did an 83 this year. This week on the wall. It's a heavy TV.
Yeah, it's with all the stuff that comes with it.
Relatively heavy TV. Like in the memoirs of P&O, when you were talking about Avant 85, that TV was 115 or 110 kilos. It's nowhere near. I think the 83 inches, what, 40 something.
Yeah, but it was all metal, right? Like now it's
Oh
heavy with
fuck.
plastic.
The glass itself was, I think, 50, 60 pounds on the Avant 85 because it's pretty heavy on a 55-inch screen as well.
Let's see. I'm just gonna go to Best Buy. They don't even carry the 88-inch anymore.
I think it's irrelevant.
Well, last year anyway, they did carry the 97. Yeah, the G5 97. Oof.
Kabi says, I was in the cinema last weekend. The image quality in San Clo is not on par with what I have at home.
Yeah, same.
That is my never-ending battle with my girlfriend, because she loves to go to movies for the fact or sake of going to a movies. To her, it's more or less like a social event type of thing, right? But I don't know how it's social event when we sit there in this dark room fucking watching shitty picture quality movie and awful sound compared to what I have here. There is no comparison to it. So
the G5 97 is 25 grand. Is the M3 the current model? No, can't
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because that's 18. We're getting there slowly. Hopefully next year.
I don't know. I thought about, like, if I'm gonna do anything, it's a G2 panel, so I'm gonna wait because it's fuck. I got 5-year warranty on this thing, so once that runs out, I might consider buying a 77-inch, and or if I go to an 83, I would love to see if B&O's floor stand is now able to support it, which they say it is. But then I think the 88-inch wing or 83-inch wings would look fucking too much.
Yeah, almost not pretty. Well, it is not pretty.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I like the 65 because of the proportions of it more or less than anything, because I would have bought a 77, but
I mean, for the same reason, I have the 65 inches wings on here. I mean, maybe I would go to 77-inch wings for like a 97-inch panel eventually, but I think I would probably actually keep it like 65 because it just looks better. It makes more sense.
The proportions to the offset of the aluminium versus the wood is somewhat correct compared to the like what the bottom is, because it's like double the width of the bottom height, right?
Yeah.
If it makes sense what I'm saying, in aluminium proportions, where if you start stretching that to 83, that's too much.
So, yeah.
Is the 97-inch enough to put two theaters side by side? Fuck, almost.
Well, without wings, yeah, for sure.
With 55-inch wings, yeah.
Caboose says, I'm still debating upgrading my C3 to G5, but I think that the C3 is just fine. I'm not missing anything. Same boat. I don't even remember if I have a C2 or C... No, this is a C2 83. I mean, it's a Dutch TV, so it doesn't even fully work here.
Yeah, but the difference, honestly, is this computational power for the picture processing and brighter output on the OLEDs. And if you have, like, this is a G2 panel. I have found zero issues watching TV here during the day. I put these, like, they're not blackout blinds, but they block enough that it's stomachable. Yes, you can see the reflections in the fucking screen right now, but when it's on, it's all gone. It's not as efficient in anti-reflective coating as per se the Avant was, with all these technologies that they were implying, a decade and a half ago.
I don't watch that much TV during the day anyway.
But if I happen to watch TV during the day, it's from this point of view in the kitchen. This is completely turned away from any light source of reflection. So I have no issues whatsoever. And for the bullshit that I watch during the day when I'm doing things around here, it's definitely not something that I have to pay 100% attention to. It's not a movie. I watched the dude beat fucking beaver dams by hand, and then I get mad because it's always that instance when I turn around to put a dish in the drawer or some shit, when he finally, it collapses and I have to rewind those. It's a 20-minute video that I wait for those 5 seconds, and I end up missing it too. But, to me it's no big deal. And usually when I do watch a movie, it's dark out because it's night, and we just cuddle up in here, whatever, and put on the movie, and I don't have a problem with lights and anything else. So to me, it's not really feasible to upgrade. I don't see the difference in it. And honestly, I work with this every day, and I'm very hard pressed to find the difference between the picture of my G2 to the G4s that we're doing right now till the G5s come in.
Yeah.
A, B, the only difference that there really is in a fully glazed living room where it's, you have one wall where you can put the TV on and the rest is fucking glass. The G4 panels do perform better because of their higher LED or OLED output
Yeah, but the
in the
G5s
nits.
put out even more.
I haven't seen the G5s yet. They haven't
I
come
think they
around yet.
put out 20% more even.
So, but then the fuck, how long is it gonna last you? Like, if you're using it on full tilt, like, I think that the panel's gonna burn out
Apparently
faster.
equal. You still get 5 years warranty.
Okay.
Max asks, speaking of, are you using power adapters or swapped out all the cables? Doesn't US have different voltage? Yes, the US has different voltage, but most things I own are universal power supplies. So the 17s have universal power supplies, the 50s do, even the
18s behind
LG
you
panels do.
Mhm.
So I just cut the end off and put an American end on. Because LG, for some reason, doesn't do detachable power cords.
That is so fucking bothersome. You have no idea how much that is of a hindrance for doing the installations with the fucking TVs. And then you get into the size of an 83, right? And then instead of a regular power cord, which there's no rhyme and reason for that thing to be a fucking thickness of a cement mixer cable. Like, it's literally jumper cables, booster cables, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
No point for that. No freaking point for that, because there's even no ground going into the TV. But the plug is a son of a bitch, and you have to. And with the G panels, because people, like, if we do it, Montreal is a little more forgiving because everything's fucking crooked here. So if you really want to, like, new construction only, where you can actually afford to put it completely flush against the wall, because a lot of times you have that bow out and whatever, and then the TV is flush on one side but sticking out on the other, but there is nothing we can do about that. But yeah, the bloody power cord, man, call it's the hardest thing to deal with in that TV. Samsung is no problem. Samsung's got its own issues when you come to, like, let's say the frame TV, because that stupid ass fiber optic power cable is frailer than it's just, you look at it wrong and it's fucked.
Yeah.
But and you don't suffer because all the stuff is connected to the little box that's below somewhere away, right? So it makes the cable management much easier, but the picture looks like shit because it's Samsung.
Yeah.
Sorry, all y'all that have Samsung TVs, but that's just my opinion.
But you have curtains that go this way, right?
I know, it closes the eyes. Fucking hell. I don't know why they don't do that. It's just a firmware thing that they could do with the B&O app.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the 100th anniversary gift. They're going to give us the curtains back. Life is full of simple pleasures. So maybe that's the one. I don't know if the burn-in is issue with OLEDs anymore. I quite honestly don't really see it. And I watch a lot of that Blade guy with the video game stream. So yeah, and not that I watch it for hours and hours on end, but in 6 years that I've been watching him, I'm sure that I would have some sort of a burn-in in the last 2 years on this TV, because it's the same, like, his frame on the TV. It's the same thing like us, right? Like, we're fucking burning your panel in right now, bro.
It's partially why your background here is black. That's why I chose it.
So that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you upgrade if you have a C3 to a G5? I don't think the upgrade is that much. I mean, I have a C3 in the bedroom, right? And it is a great picture. And it's noticeable, weirdly, from C2 to C3s, because C2 in the living room, C3 in the bedroom. But it's also size change, right? Like it's 83 in the living room, 65 in the bedroom.
The scale has definitely to play.
Yeah. mean, if you have money that's frivolous, sure, but like it's not broken. The, I could buy a G583, right? But I don't really feel I'm upgrading anything. I mean, the only upgrade I actually think is that like it would be an American model and a lot more stuff would like properly work. Since
But
my
other than
TV,
that, it's a psychological upgrade than technological upgrade, in my opinion.
yeah, well, one of the things, right? Like, so for region setting, like because it's a European TV, you cannot set it to anything in North America. You can
Interesting.
you can only pick European countries. You can set it to other, but as soon as you do that, then your LG account doesn't like
Doesn't
it.
work. Mm.
I can set the time on it correctly, but it still changes to summertime on the European schedule. The AccuWeather is the only thing that essentially works correctly.
Interesting.
So it's not really bothersome because we don't have cable here. But like the coaxial aerial TV tuner also doesn't work here. So the free over
It
the air
doesn't work here even if you had a regular American TV.
it does
You
work
get like 4 or 5 channels. Fuck.
in the bedroom now. I get
I guess it's more in America, but here I always struggle with a
I would
little,
get
little,
like
little.
28 channels or something like that.
No shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
with the LG TV, oh, that's another thing. The LG TV channels, right? Like they're based on your location. They don't work here at all in the living room, but in the bedroom, I get 60 odd channels.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, here it's so then like the LG TV doesn't work.
no, because it says on both things like it's European, so your IP address is wrong because DRM and stuff. But then it also doesn't work because you're not in the right region with your IP address. It doesn't work both ways.
Oh my god.
So it's yeah, it's one of these things where like I could upgrade. I don't think I would gain much. I would rather get a different size, like a bigger size. But if that's out for the like, I'll buy a new 83 if this one just breaks by chance or something to that effect. But other
That's
than that,
that's my end game with this. That I'll ride this TV till the wheels fall off, and then I'll buy another one. There's no point. And
I mean, also if you're not like A/B testing them right next to each other, you don't really tell.
you can't tell the difference, dude. You can't tell the
I mean,
difference.
supposedly the C2 that I have in my living room is terrible by today's standards, but I wouldn't know.
It's what you're used to. It's the same thing. Like some people, when they we've had a family that, or a couple that went from a BeoVision 740 to an LG panel.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
speaking of marks, like
enormous.
the BeoVision 7s were the only ones that had marked from Mark 1 to Mark 5, I guess, because the Mark 5 had a Blu-ray in it.
Yeah.
So that was the marks, but nothing really changed internally in it, other than the LED backlighting from cold cathode fluorescent tubing in Mark 3s. And then Mark 5 was the Blu-ray from the DVD, but the TV didn't change. But anyways, so they're the older TV, and the light output on the BV740s in a very well lit room is very bad. It's terrible, more or less, especially on the older TVs. And we put the fucking 55-inch G3, I guess, at the time. It's 2 years ago now.
Yes.
And it was like, holy fuck, like a huge difference. But that's the only time when you actually do the A to B with the client. But most of the time, no. Like they're replacing a TV that's been dead for a week, so they already forgotten what it actually looks like, and then you put in the other one, and they're just blown away. But LG has by far the best picture on the market right now, no matter what people say, in my opinion, of course. But
Well, for us B&O folks, the integration is better.
Yeah, it's that's 100% what makes the most sense.
With the G series, the G5 series, I think it's pretty close to Sony. You could argue that the Sony is maybe anywhere between 1% to 3% better, but
yeah,
I take the integration over that minuscule difference personally.
Oh, 100% of the time.
Then the other thing that I find more annoying about other TV brands, which is I'm very happy with LG for, is that Any of the Android TVs in 2 years, the SoC is so sluggish. Like just changing menus, going from source to source, right? Like for some reason, all these Android-based TVs, they become really, really slow. And I think, I mean, it's the same. It's not as bad today, but it's similar to the BeoVision Horizon and like the Avant
Yes.
Mark II or next gen. It's like after 5 years, their operating system is essentially junk, and the LGs are pretty fast still. Like they don't change that much. Partially because it's a closed ecosystem. It's not like you're. It's a bit like Apple iPhones, right? Like they're not all of a sudden super slow after 5 years.
Well, I've had mine for 2.5 now, and I never see any difference. And essentially, to the positive of it all, I have now the same software in it than that it's on the G4s and G5s. I have that AI picture assistant, whatever, which didn't exist on the old software when it didn't like. And so I have the same operating system as everybody else does, except that I guess my panel isn't as bright enough, or my computation power is not as fast enough. But for my, like I said, for my YouTube videos, it's just fine. I don't do gaming on it, so I'm not reliant on a super fast pass-through processing and, high S refresh rate and so on and so forth and this and that. Don't care for that. Every now and then we watch a movie or a goofy Netflix show or something, and it's good enough for me. For me, what's more important is the fucking sound, and especially in the bedroom with the issue of the surround. That's gonna get dealt with immediately because I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
Went through the bollocks of installing all these receivers and shit in BeoLab 4s, and I can't get them to play. No way.
Just before we go, Kabir says, I think I'll add a pair of 8s instead. Think if upgrade 5.1 to 7.1 is bigger than the panel upgrade. Whilst I agree, 5.1.2 is a much bigger upgrade than more surround on like the 7.1.
Yeah.
Just having speakers above you creates like a bubble of
Effect.
sound where you can sort of like within that 3D space you can project so much better versus when it's all on the same plane.
Yes.
Like if something flies overhead in an Atmos anything on Netflix, right?
It goes over your head.
And it doesn't go from there to there to there to there. It'll go literally that way. So if you can add heights, absolutely add some heights.
Do it.
It's I found that. I mean, I had this in the Netherlands in my old apartment. I went from 5.1 to 7.1, and then I moved them to the ceiling, even with the harmony, even with something that doesn't do Atmos. It was so much better, even with the harmony. It was kind of incredible.
Yeah, with the Biosystem 3 and 4, yes, I would say, if Biosystem 3, I would even draw the line, because Biosystem 4, the true image was spectacular in a way that it wasn't the Atmos, but it had way more speaker allocations that you could place in within that its own algorithmic ecosystem. But in all honesty, I think the greatest upgrade is if you do surround, do them as heights in the back, because the front heights from the theater are sufficient enough per se to create that effect, but it's the back that really saves it.
Yeah, just set your theater up firing to front heights.
That's right,
and you'll be good. Well, they can even be off, right? Just having speakers as surround height makes such an enormous difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yes.
And when you have a source that is pure 7.1, true image will still like mix and match with whatever is up there. Yeah. So you still sort of get your 7.1 experience. So that'll be good. It's a better solution. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great week. See you all next week, and be safe and have fun.
Take care, everybody. Bye.